Welcome to Hilton Park at Leigh, where the home club, despite all their financial problems of last season when they almost went out of existence, are still fighting to get back in Division 1. So today's game is going to be a pretty tight one because Sheffield Eagles also want to get back in Division 1. It's vital for them both. With me once again, Alan McInnes. Alan, this second division is proving everything we thought it would. It's so closely contested.
Yes, it's still very early days, I think, Keith, but the signs are that it's going to be close right through the whole season.
We've got Sheffield and Carlisle at the top at the moment. Leigh have won 2 of their 4 games, but at this moment in time, anybody, even Rochdale York down at the bottom, could put on a burst.
Well, that's the beauty, I think, of it being so tightly knit, and some very good sides, isn't it, as we've seen already. It's high standard of rugby from most of the teams that we've seen on Sportscast, and today's going to be no exception.
Quite a good win by Leigh against Rochdale Hornets on Monday, which, if you put it in perspective, Rochdale Hornets are in the Lancashire Cup final, so that must have been a good performance.
Yes, whether Rochdale were actually thinking towards the semi-final on the Thursday night, I'm not so sure against Carlisle, but certainly a good win for Leigh in very difficult conditions. A pretty wet night there at Rochdale, but that's a good win away from home.
When Sheffield Eagles started the season, all the bookies were making them favourites to go back up. But we saw them not exactly struggle against Rochdale York. It was an extremely good game that could have gone either way.
They have been missing some key players, and we mentioned this after the game, and it's good to see Darryl Powell back, the England centre, although he's playing number 6 today. And of course Mark Aston's back in the team, so I think those 2 key players will make quite a significant difference to this Sheffield side.
But then you've got to look across on the other side and see Johnny Woods, who I think won't mind being called a veteran, who's come back to help Leigh out.
Well, that's going to be a great confrontation, I think, between the 2 sixes. One, the very experienced John Woods, and Darryl Powell, of course, new international centre, and that's going to be a highlight for today, I'm sure, Keith.
So let's take in the teams. Leigh's strong side, and we've just mentioned Johnny Woods, all the experience there, and Jason Donoghue, of course, a young lad with the experience of John Woods to guide him. John Woods, of course, pulled out last season during that time of dispute with the Leigh club when he almost went out of existence. It's good to see him coming back. Basil Arcade, the New Zealander, formerly with Bradford Northern. Paul Topping, in fact, there's a load of experience. We're going to get the problem between 11 and 12 again, Alan. We've got Andrew Collier and Andy Collier yet again.
Yes, well, we've got significant differences now, of course. One speaks with a more broad accent, apparently, going into Gavin Ashcroft, and one wears swingstrings and one a jockstrap. So, obviously, if we get some close-ups, we might be able to distinguish between these 2 Leigh players.
Otherwise, we may get Collier and Collier. And Lee Hansen, who's coming in as sub, is the cousin of Shane Hansen, who will be pretty well known at Salford. That's the Leigh side. Sheffield Eagles, everybody's favourite at the start of the season, but not having things all their own way. Their only league defeat has been at Carlisle. They drew at Oldham. Good to see Darryl Powell back, David Plange, ex-Castle winner, Richard Price from Hull, yet another of the Rapati clan at centre. I think the interesting thing there, Alan, is that we saw David Close have a super game at scrum half against Rochdale York. Mark Aston's back after injury after a month. Might have problems getting his place back.
Well, we were speaking to Gary Hetherington before the game, Keith, and of course he's quite happy to be in this position to have such a good player as David Close, as you say, outstanding at Rochdale York. But Mark Aston, of course, could always play 6, and he's got then the possibility of moving Darryl Powell into the centre. So he's got quite a few permutations there, revolving around 3 very good players.
And the vast experience in the front row of Hugh Waddell, who's played at Leeds, has been a Great Britain tourist and is one of the strongest and most willing forwards in the game, one of those who never gives up.
Yes, Hugh, very experienced player, as you said. He's become a better player as time's gone on, I think. He used to be rather loose in his distribution, always wanted to get rid of the ball, but settled down now and very consistent performer.
The centres are a danger man, or have been this season for Eagles. Both Richard Price and Ivor Rapati have scored 4 tries each, which shows plenty of power in the centre. And talking about centres, I think our sympathy ought to go, Alan, to Neil McCulloch, who came back after 18 months out with a broken leg, had a few games, played at Rochdale on Monday and broke the other leg. And I gather that a videotape of this match is going to go to hospital to Neil, and I think we ought to send our best wishes too.
Certainly, I think all the Leigh fans will be sending their best wishes to Neil as well. It's It is a disastrous blow that for the young man. Let's hope that in fact he can overcome the broken bone in his leg and hopefully get back to fitness and back to league.
Well, he's not the first player, of course, to break both limbs. Of course, Steve Hampson at Wigan has had 3 breakages, but it must be heartbreaking. But quite a lot of courage to come back. Sheffield Eagles taking the pitch, and the entry of the Gladiators means no doubt that very shortly we'll have Leigh taking the field with Paul Topping in front. Good crowd here today, well swelled by Sheffield Eagles fans. They've got quite a good little army of travelling fans. And in the middle of your shot there with the ball, Daryl Powell, Malreely's first choice centre in recent international series, playing Stanley Park this afternoon. Of course, really good rugby players can adapt from one position to another, and Daryl's proving that.
He's a very skillful player. I'm sure he's learnt a lot over the last few years about positional play, and of course playing with the Great Britain squad, you've got a lot of people to look up to and talk to, and improving his game has been a major factor in the success of Sheffield, of course, over the last couple of seasons.
Back as captain, and a very loyal Sheffield Eagles player. He's had temptations to move to other clubs, particularly since reaching international status, but he's been extremely loyal. And talk about loyalty, although he did move away to Warrington and Bradford Northern, Johnny Wood's very much a Leigh hometown lad. As I say, he took his roots home for a spell last season, he and Tony Cottrell, when all was not well, to say the least, with the club, but it's good to see him back in action, Alan.
Well, great admirer of John Wood's play. It was rather sad, I think, for John when he was at Warrington. He'd never been to Wembley, of course, and when he was at Warrington, got to that semi-final against Wigan, and it was a sort of towering line and drop goal, which upset the apple cart as far as he was concerned. But he's been one of the top players in our English game.
He has indeed, and a very likeable character, John Woods. Good crowd there, the Leigh fans. There are plenty of Sheffield fans sprinkled around as well. Referee Mr. White on the pole. And Paul Topping kicks off for Leigh. Into the Sheffield 22. Just to remind ourselves, Sheffield joint top with Carlisle in Division 2 at the moment. Leigh 1-2, lost 2, not yet really got into their stride. Took a fearful hammering at Oldham on Aerospace, Alan, but of course they had a sending off in that match, and I think it made a lot of difference.
It certainly did. They'd only been training together for a very short time as well, and obviously it's going to take some time for them to really get into top gear.
Leigh in possession. Mark Shields, the unlucky man at Oldham, of course. One of the two remains, and now Paul Topping hammering it down deep. David Maiko. Always on hand when a drive is wanted. Always a man to take the ball up for you. And Mr. Whiteham, penalty for offside. 2 Eagles. David Close kicked so well against Rochdale York. It really will be interesting to see whether Gary Everington decides to give Mark Aston a game as Waddell plunges over the 22.
He may well have some preset plans, Keith, but obviously they may be counteracted by any injuries that might take place. But I'm sure he'll want to bring Aston on at some stage or other, really, just to make sure he gets back to full fitness.
This is a good attack by Eagles. They're just 8 metres away from the Leigh line. from that penalty. Looking for a move. Broadbent then really didn't get the ball quickly enough, and the pre-planned move had to be halted in mid-stride. But there's Waddell. Tremendous forward. Former Staffordshire policeman who walked into Blackpool Borough and asked for a trial. The rest is history. Darryl Powell. Close. Now then, old Vasilaki almost got the interception, allowed Pixley to find the gap. Pixley, desperate tackling this by Leigh. And it works because it's the handover, so close shave for Leigh.
There's a good build-up by Sheffield, but I think they were just a little bit flat on that left-hand side, and that forced Darryl Powell to double back onto the right-hand side. But again, with that floated pass, Leigh were able to come away with the ball from the handover.
Here we go.
Basil Arke played most of his career as a centre, pressed into service as a wing today. That's Andy Rowane's kick. Plenty of kickers in the Leigh side, plenty of options. David Maiko. Leigh, of course, their problem, Alan, is not just winning matches, it's persuading enough people to come and watch them to make this new lease of Hilton Park viable.
Well, there's no doubt about it. If they are successful, they win their games, the Leigh public will be there. And it's what happens on the field, I think, very much, as far as Kevin Ashtrow's concerned and Tony Cottrell. If they get it right on the field, I'm sure the crowd will come.
That was a good tackle. That was an excellent tackle. Hayes. Oh, but this is good running now. Again, a good tackle and touch broken, but that looked like a try-scoring move for a moment.
Two lovely pieces of play by Sheffield. Firstly, Darryl Powell hitting the gap and changing his angle of running, so he's really straightening up. And now we can see this ball to Richard Price on the far side. In fact, it is Richard Price bursting down that left-hand side. But this is a great cover tackle from Jason Donoghue, just managed to hang on. And Richard Price can't quite get the ball out to his winger.
Inside their own 22. No score as yet. Mark Shields driving. Yet again, Leigh using this tactical kick. David Flange. At the moment, it's Sheffield Eagles that look a sharper side. Moving the ball well. Oh, this is good stuff. The halfbacks working well together and keeping it moving. This is excellent rugby, this. But, well, David Flange. Rather a pity that, because Eagles looking very, very sharp indeed.
Great build-up that. This superb interplay close in the middle of the field there. The two halfbacks linking. And then as the ball comes from Andrew Young out on the floor, it's snapped up again, and this is a 2v1 outside on the left-hand side.
And that was quite remarkable, because that was hooked against the head.
And the ball lost by Flange.
Yes, the ball lost against the head while we were watching that action replay. In goes the hooker, Mick Cook. So yet again, Sheffield Eagles threatening to take the lead. They were here a minute or two ago. Hugh Waddell trying to use his bulk and his power. Darryl Powell. The Leigh defence holding well. Just hanging on. Just a couple of metres out. Referee has awarded a penalty. That's not letting him play the ball, perhaps a calculated foul almost, because that was very dangerous.
Yes, probably, certainly. Leigh were under a bit of pressure there. One of the reasons, in fact, that Sheffield have had to double it back is that John Woods, wide out, is moving up very, very quickly indeed. He's cutting the wide ball out. And so on a couple of occasions, Darryl Powell had to switch it back the other way. And that's upset their rhythm, because I think Sheffield basically like to move that ball wide and let their centres and their loose forward and the young running into gaps wide out.
Well, let's see if David Close can put Eagles ahead. They certainly do deserve it on the run of play so far. It's been virtually all. In fact, I don't think Leigh have broken the halfway line. But a penalty to Close. Well, perhaps it could be said that he should have landed that one, but a let-off for Leigh. Michael. Well, forward said the crowd, but justice was seen to be done when possession was lost. A bit of a misunderstanding between Leigh then. They'll get away with it because they're offside by Eagles.
Well, this is the first chance actually for Leigh now to have some possession in Sheffield's half. It's really Sheffield who've dominated possession, and Leigh, when they've had it, have been in their own 22. So here's a chance to see if he goes through some ploys.
Ian Potter, experienced forward, had a long spell at Wigan and is renowned as one of the best tacklers in the league. Jason Donoghue, a high ball, and not a good pass really.
Leigh a little bit flat. I think the replay might show, in fact, that was just lost by the Sheffield players. So let's have a look at it. Well, Donoghue's the tackler. Now, does he touch the ball or not? No, I don't think he did.
Clear knock on. Lost possession. 1-0. Well, one wouldn't want to impute unworthy motives to the Sheffield player, but perhaps we better not say what we've said several times in aerospace, that new law does lend itself to misinterpretation. She was made sure then.
He tackled Darryl Powell. Darryl Powell having a look at the touches there. John Wilder was quite clear about the penalty. But it seemed Mark Shields did come rather high on Darryl Powell.
He did indeed. The penalty was for not letting get up and play, which of course often has been the feature of the British game, Alan, that in Australia gets heavily penalised.
Powell has seen the gap. Shields comes round with a bit of a haymaker there. It's certainly high. It's not particularly hurt him, and then a little bit of a sort of a bunch of five over the old nose there. So Darryl Powell not too happy about that, I'm sure.
A second penalty for David Close. He missed the first. Well, he slipped and he kicked it, and this misses the post. That's two penalties missed by David Close. Paul Topping and Leigh struggling to get out of their own half.
Well, they've had one piece of possession from the penalty inside the Sheffield half, and of course they made a mess of it. They lost possession, so really they only got themselves to blame at the moment.
But they've been lucky, they've defended well. David Close has missed a couple of penalties. They've survived intact, certainly for the time being. Maiko whistling it out. Very quickly, Jason Donoghue came on extremely quickly there.
Good defence wide out from Leigh there. That cut out a very promising move from Sheffield. Passing just a little bit slow.
Inside for a party. Darryl Powell designed to duck that one. A bit untidy and scrappy at the moment. Simon Booth originally came as centre, being pressed into service as wing. Paul Topping. Good handling, but An interferer getting in the way, which gives it 6 more. That's Ian Jeffrey was the instigator of that work. Topping, and Topping drops it, and it's seized upon gratefully. But that was a lovely move. It had broken the Sheffield defence.
We've seen 2 superb individual pieces of skill. First from Ian Jeffrey, who's a big sidestepper off that left leg. And then, of course, a great break from Jason Donoghue, as we see here. There's Donoghue with the ball. A look and a bit of acceleration. Gets away from the tackle. But here, a poor pass to Paul Topping.
And Mick Cook glad to get on top of that. And a knock on. Now it's Leigh at long last have gone into their stride. On the 22. Jeffrey.
Come on, Max, come on.
The centre's moving it wide. This is more like, oh dear me, yet another handling error. Pixley. Struck by Donoghue, but much more spirit now from Leigh.
Yeah, Leigh are getting into their stride a little bit, but they're making far too many mistakes. I think Kevin Ashcroft will be rather upset that they had opportunities there and they've lost possession.
Big front row man Paul Broadbent. So Sheffield have been on the receiving end for a while. They were having it all their own way for a while, but now the tackling is coming in hard. And now that will be a penalty. Oh, he's doing a scrum this time. Now, that was much more.
I think John Wildman, in fact, was not looking at the time at the ball. He was trying to get the Leigh players back in the defensive line. And just a little bit unsighted there. So he's given the scrum, but it's Leigh ball.
Well, is it? Well, that's unorthodox, but it worked. Bit of improvisation then, getting the ball back to Sheffield. Maiko. So really, plenty of endeavour, plenty of spirit, but appalling handling.
Well, this is a bit sad, really, Keith, because conditions are ideal, and we've seen some high-standard performers. Here is Michael going through. John Wood's desperately trying to get hold of him, and just manages, along with David Ruane and Ian Jeffrey, to get the tackle in, but the ball's gone forward again. So, really, too many unforced errors at the moment, Keith.
Jason Donoghue, really what is happening, I think, in these scrums is that the Leigh back being pushed off it.
I think Sheffield are applying a 6-man show when it's Leigh feed, and it's disrupted the Leigh back noise.
That was a quick play the ball by Potter, which caught Eagles offside. Paul Topping, not a good kick. Pixley. Oh, what a good tackle. It's Jason Donoghue again. He's covering a lot of ground. What else? I don't think he was looking for support then. He was just making ground on that burst. Dale Lawton, a thudding tackle. Jeffrey. Okay.
Superb tackle from Andy Collier here. Real copybook that. That's forced him to lose the ball.
Donoghue, Woods, Shield. Fairly predictable move then, and Eagles on top of it. And Collier also got a bang in that tackle. Maiko trying to sell a dummy to David Flange. Well, that was interference to the play ball. I think you're right, actually. Mr. Whitelam was so concerned with looking at the Leigh line that actually he wasn't at that moment looking at the play. I mean, you can't have eyes in the back of your head. And of course, that's what the touchdown did. Well, over Waddell.
Both sides are showing a lack of control in the vital stages of any particular movement.
Darryl Powell seeing half an opening. Very quickly closed. No scorers yet. Plenty of effort. Plenty of action. Did well to get that away, so much so it's a lot forward. And the handover. 17 minutes gone in the first half. We're still waiting for a score in this second division game. That's a penalty to Sheffield Eagles. Mark Shields getting ticked off. Paul Topping as captain going across to listen. Well, Mark Shields paid the full penalty of over-aggressiveness at Oldham, you remember, Alan?
Well, he's obviously a very involved player. Let's see David Close, the organiser of this Sheffield move. Referee John Wildman, no doubt about, as far as he's concerned, speaking out of turn and a bit of a head barge, so penalty given.
Broadbent. Just 20 metres out. Sheffield Eagles with Close. Powell. Looked to his left to see if anyone was there to continue that move. Price. Wasn't tackled, the referee agrees. Got it out to Lawton. That's 8 metres out now. Sheffield have been here before twice. They haven't made it count. And again, David Close. Oh, play on, says the referee. Went backwards. What scrappy handling, though. I mean, they're not going to have to come sooner or later. And really, this is messy stuff. They're trying to play too fast. A bit 100 mile an hour.
They could give themselves a little bit more room by staying a bit deeper, Keith. I think they're just a little bit too flat on one of their moves, Sheffield.
Again the push, but this time Jason Donahue emerges. Welcomed by Andy Young. So these two sides well wound up. We're midway through the first half. Andy Owain. Jason Donahue did well, but didn't get a good pass out, so all I wanted is lost. Potter picks it up. Topping. Bit scrappy and shapeless at the moment.
There's no real pattern to the play, but you can expect that, Keith, because people are making mistakes, and that is upsetting the flow.
Pixley. That's a nice sidestep by Maiko. Looking to pass, but again the support not there. Dale Lawton, lad from Barnsley. Close. Price. A large bunch of Sheffield players there in midfield. Waddell. He's certainly not very wide, Sheffield, at the moment. But Huey Waddell getting it out left. Ivor Abati and David Glenn. And David Glenn is not having the happiest of afternoon. That's the second party block.
He's not had two good passes, but I feel on both occasions he could have made a better effort. So, unfortunately for David Glenn, a former Castleford and Great Britain winger, things not going quite his way.
The mistakes continuing, and after 22 minutes, we're scoreless here at Hilton Park. I suppose it does show just how competitive this second division is. Oh, Topping almost through, accelerated. Again, no penalty awarded, just a little bit of a crowd locking up. The centre's working well, but not making much ground. David Owain. And we have a Leigh sub. Lee Hansen warming up. Maiko deciding not to try and feel that ball. join the pack, and that's...
Well, Lee Hansen certainly looks a big boy. Keith is powerful lad, and there's Andy Collier going off, and he's probably... He hurt himself in that tackle.
Yes, indeed. That's Lee Hansen. Well, I suppose from a commentator's point of view, bad luck for Andy Collier, but at least we've only got one Andrew Collier on the field at the moment.
We won't confuse him with Lee Hansen.
And we have a penalty close to the line for Leigh, and this is the first time in this half they've looked really dangerous. They're going to run it, and they're about 7 or 8 metres out, and already Lee Hansen is cracking into the action. The Leigh crowd something to shout about now. Mark Shields rigging like mad. Donahue and Wards. Good tackle by Powell.
Just to get.
So they swing it right now. There seem to be men to spare. There's the first. A beautiful work try for Simon Booth.
Well, in really the very first attack inside the Sheffield 22 after 24 minutes, Simon Booth has scored, and it was a really well-worked try. The ball had swung twice to the left-hand side, and now with the overlap on the right, John Wood swings a lovely ball out wide. Toppings come up to make the extra men. Sheffield shoveling across in defence, but Simon Booth, big, strong, steps inside the covers. David Close just struggling there to keep his feet. But a very well-worked try from Leigh, and the first score of the afternoon.
Indeed, and with Sheffield Eagles burning so many chances through careless passing early on, it's Leigh who get it right at last, and Simon Booth opens the scoring.
Simon Booth, the scorer of the try. He did have a bit of work to do when he got the ball on the wing. He had a bit of room though, got a fair head of steam. With Close covering across, it was easy to step inside.
One of the youngsters on the Leigh side, and former centre. Indeed, he probably still is a centre, but because of the problems Leigh are having with players and personnel rushed into service, but nothing wrong with the way he finished then. Eagles kick off.
There was a marker at the play the ball, and
he couldn't play to himself.
He couldn't play to himself.
That's another of these new laws, and I think Paul Topping, as skipper of Leigh, is asking for that interpretation.
Well, David Close has missed with
Dale
two
Lawton
kicks at goal.
Has been substituted for Sheffield, while David Close has his third kick at goal.
Well, here's the incident now. Is he marking him? Well, I think John Woods may well argue that in fact he wasn't. But John Wilmer said no. John Whitefield said it's a penalty.
David Close, the third opportunity to open the score for Sheffield. It's 4-3 at the moment. That's better.
David Close.
Leigh 4, try by Simon Booth. Sheffield Eagles 2, penalty goal by David Close.
Substitution for Sheffield Eagles, number 15, Mark Aston, replaced with number 11, Neil Long.
And Mark Aston. Returns to play.
I don't think Aston will play in the second row, certainly, but so obviously some rearranging as far as Sheffield are concerned. Perhaps Rapati will go in the second row. He's certainly big enough.
Come on, mate!
4-2 to Leigh. Nice transfer, but again, no support. As it ends, and Leigh have tackled well. They've taken advantage of some sloppy handling by Sheffield. To Leigh. Leigh coming up very quickly. Darryl Powell looking to pass the ball, but it would have been an interception. Mick Cook. Now Mark Aston already showing his kicking skills.
He's been on the field just a matter of 1 minute, I think, Keith. Already he's put 3 very good passes out and a good kick. So
he's also a good organiser, Mark Aston. He'll help Darryl Powell. And I think Darryl Powell's gone in. No, that's a TD pack formation.
Aston's playing
Aston
it loose
actually is
forward.
playing loose forward. Which means Andy Young, of course, is going into the second row where he normally operates. Lee Hansen. Shields. Now where's that ball? Sheffield have it. Mark Shields losing it. Waddell. Mark Shields again giving him a necklace. Broadbent. Waddell's ready. Could be a dummy run. It is indeed. Close. What a good ball to Powell, but they're missing out. There should have been support for Powell. Ian Potter. And yet again, Eagles. Gary Hetherington must be going hairless in the dugout.
Well, Sheffield have set themselves up in really good positions, but although they've got 1 or 2 complicated moves, I still think they're a little bit flat and they're not giving themselves enough room to finish it off. And Leigh, of course, are defending well.
There's the Sheffield dugout. 5 worried faces there. Leigh in possession in their own half. Eagles coming up quickly. And Mark Shields caught.
Come on, well, let's move up. Come on, well, move up.
Okay. Andy Rowan. Little chip by Jason Donahue. Well taken by Powell. Myko. What a good run of this lad. Exciting running by Myko, but a little too fast for his own support. But it's over. Oh, he didn't play that. It's on through Waddell. He wanted to find a support play by Eagles. It's not good. That's Cook. That's Powell and Waddell have both been through and had no support. Waddell. Close. Aston. And the knockdown, 6 more. Tackled off the ball, sure. Play on, says the referee. Myko again. Waddell. 10 metres out. 4-2 to Leigh. Aston. Finds the long one out. Rapati. Well tackled. Good Leigh defence so far, just over the half hour. And it all ends with so many other attacks with spilled possession. The chances that Eagles will go away.
The chance was on about 3 play the balls earlier when the gap was on the left-hand side. And it wasn't seen by Sheffield. They didn't get it out there quickly enough. And then Leigh reorganised and Sheffield have made a mess of it once again.
You have to hand it to the Leigh defence. They're knocking Sheffield out of their stride, hence the mistakes. That's Collier.
See, top of Zuka, hasn't it?
Oh, Shields really taken hard by Andy Young. No, the clearing kick by Topping, but Leigh under a lot of pressure, although they lead 4-2 with that try by Simon Wood against a penalty goal by Close. They're under a lot of pressure. Mike O'Slips this time. We've seen a couple of pacey breaks by him. Pixley's gone inside. Well, this time the support was there. And again. Pixley driven back by Hanson. Good tackling by leaders. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Aston. That's a nice ball. He finds the gap. Oh, what a lovely tackle by Booth. Really stopped Park in his tracks. But the momentum continues. Aston in everything now since he came on. Was it forward? No, it wasn't. Doesn't matter now because we have it. Ian Potter and offside. Well, we're getting plenty of action now.
They certainly are. I mean, Sheffield are moving the ball at bewildering speed, but I think that's causing their downfall a little bit at times because they've lost far too much possession. They started off the first half in really good form, didn't finish it off, and I think they're getting a little bit frustrated with themselves. And Leigh are coming back into the game.
Shields. Leigh lead 4 points to 2. Their one real attack on the Sheffield line. There's Hanson. Big man. And there's the Leigh dugout with Kevin Ashcroft and the former referee Stan Wall. Oh, that was Topping driven back by that pass. David Ruane. Certainly in terms of territorial supremacy, it's been all Eagles, but they're missing their chances as Andy Ruane bangs it down to Pixley. Very wisely keeps away from the touchline. Good clearing run this by Pixley. Indeed, he takes him into the Leigh half. Mick Cook is acting half-back, and Waddell was ready. 5 minutes before half-time, 4-2 to Leigh. Tremendous battle this, and the crowd extremely enthusiastic. Mark Aston. Well, that should have been taken by Park. Surprising level. What an influence on the game Mark Aston has had since he came on.
It has, but they're perhaps a little bit ambitious, that pass.
Jeffrey getting it out to Arcade again. Topping's inside. Topping. Super try made by Ian Jeffrey for Paul Topping. 2 attacks, 2 tries.
Quite amazing, Keith, this. It was a very good try in the end.
Number 1, Paul Topping.
Jeffrey really worked very hard in this move. And as we can see on the replay, that's Paul Topping going back there. Great support play from him.
But you must ask questions about Eagles' defence. It's only twice that Leigh have set foot inside their half and they've scored tries.
Good ball here to Jeffrey, and then immediately transfers it to Ake. Now then it's the distribution in the tackle here which is good, and Jeffrey trying to push off the cover. What a one-handed left-hand pass inside, and that's a great piece of play. And with the 2 points being added as well, that's really stretched lead now.
So it's 10 points to 2. Well, it shows you the fact that territorial advantage counts for nothing if you don't finish and if you keep dropping the ball. It's been Sheffield who've spent a lot of time inside the Leigh 22 but yet to score a try. Leigh have visited the Sheffield line twice and carved out 2 tries.
Substitution for Sheffield Eagles, number 14, Mark Gampson, replacing number 2, Richard Pixley.
The good thing about that try, Keith, was that when Jeffrey passed the ball to Aki, he then didn't stop working. He supported superbly on the outside.
10-2 to Leigh as we approach half-time. And Leigh now playing with much more confidence. They've managed to hold their line intact against a wave of, must be admitted, fast, untidy Sheffield attacks. Donahue, Woods. Topping up again. A dummy by Topping and the puck into the hands of Ivor Party. But Johnny Woods has been waiting to do that for 38 minutes.
John Woods has done that so many times on this Hilton Park ground, Keith. Probably 5 or 6 years ago he'd have finished it off, but what a lovely little break here from John Woods inside his own 22 and accelerating away. Support plays there from Paul Topping. The pass here is good. There's Topping, but this one perhaps, well, it could have been better. It's a little bit of a sidestep here, trying to get inside the fullback. Good tackle from Maiko, but Rapati had got back and they'd covered pretty well Sheffield on that occasion.
Leigh have possession again with Donahue and Woods, Collier. Before half-time, 10-2 to Leigh. I think there again, another little, Kevin Ashcroft shouting his head off there, really letting rip. The point I was going to make then, Alan, is that one of the reasons I think why that pass was forward was the fact that the Leigh defender on the ground refused to get out of the way of the play the ball. But of course, the attacking player has the option then to move to the side.
Oh yes, that was a mistake by Sheffield, a bad one as well. And I think they're getting a little bit frustrated with one another. There are one or two signs of people having a go at one another on the pitch verbally. And that's not a good sign for Gary Henderson's men.
Hanson dropped him the second time. And the ball whacked up in the air. I think the referee will wait and see if he goes to hand for Sheffield. It doesn't, he'll blow. But really, Gary Hetherington, you've just made the point. I'm sure he's going to have a long, hard talking to his side because they're just not holding the ball.
Well, obviously, control is the important thing as far as Sheffield are concerned. I think if they'd held the ball better than they have done, they may well have been in with a chance. I see there's a change now because Aston's gone to scrum half, he's feeding. So already we've had a bit of a change of emphasis.
With David Close to stand off. Could well see Darryl Powell operating in his Great Britain position as centre. The ever-willing Waddell. I don't think that was intended for Richard Price. And yet again, this is penalty. Mark Aston so cross that he attempted to get the ball back by unfair means. And I think you're right, Mark Aston and one or two other people, they're really having a go at each other.
They must be very frustrated because they have made far too many errors for a side that last year was in the first division and played some superb rugby.
Yes, indeed, 2 seasons for Sheffield Eagles in higher company, and yet they look so scrappy this afternoon, and Woods almost losing, and that little shimmy, typical effort by John Woods. The brain is still there, and at the half-time hooter, applause from the Hilton Park faithful as Leigh go in at half-time. That's Paul Topping who got the second try. Leigh 10, Sheffield Eagles 2. The Leigh skipper. Hugh Waddell, ever the workhorse, just beyond them. So Sheffield Eagles doing most of the attacking, but more significantly, Leigh getting the 2 tries. We have action now from last Monday night's match, which also involved Leigh and resulted in a magnificent win at the Lancashire Cup finalists, Rochdale Hornets.
So chance for Hornets now, just as we approach half-time. There's Bob Eccles. He'd really like to do something vital on his home debut here at Scotland. And this could be it. This could be it. In fact, it is it.
That's a great try from Phil Fox there. He weaved his way through. Just watch the ball go out there. Out he goes. Long ball from Gartland. Now watch Bob Eccles. He sets this up. Going in, looking for that half break. Just gets through the first tackle. Tackle comes in. Over the top it goes. Phil Fox has to go back. Watch him. Inside, outside, and back inside again. Can't quite get back Jason Donoghue. And over he goes, Phil Fox. That's a good try in these conditions. Good try in any conditions.
Well, are we going to see another drop kick? Last tackle. It's John Woods. No, John Woods is oh, no. Well, I think he's probably thinking a bit too fast for his teammates. There's Ronnie Duane with the big kick. More fielding for Webster to do. He's made a complete mess of that.
Try, oh, great try there.
What a shame for Webster.
John Woods thinking twice, turns the ball back inside. I thought Andy Rain would have had a little bit of a pop and goal here. Just watch him, sticks the ball up. Thought it was going to be a drop goal. Andy Rain just looking, going underneath it now. Young David Webster there. Well, he knocks the ball on. He'll be so disappointed, but look how Tommy Hayes got in there. He really did do well.
So here's Brett Clark. What does it? Has he got the touch? Yes! He's got the touch.
Just watch it now. Brett Clark steps back inside. Little grubber kick, what we talked about. Waiting for the upper end. It just chips it through. Misses the post. What's Paul Topping? That's the lad with the leggings on. He's just shielding it. He's going to let the ball go there, he says. But not Brett Clark. He's in there in a flash. I bet Paul Topping saying to Kevin Ascot, it was over the line, sir.
On the last tackle, I suppose it's worth a try on the last tackle one.
Well, I can't understand in these conditions. We had a drop goal when it was 0-0. Put them in front, Leigh, and they had a prime chance there to go very close, but here's an interception by Aki.
This is a real chance for Leigh now. Basil Aki powering for the line.
Just watch Cliff Eccles coming forward now. That's the 25-yard line. He's not even over that. Where's he going? He's straightening up. Just getting over the 25. What's he looking to support there for? Absolutely no chance at all. In these conditions or any other conditions. And look at Aki. He goes all the way for it. Really going. Chasing in there Webster, but he can't get him. No way in these conditions. He didn't have a price on the tackle in there, because if he'd got him around the ankles, he would have just slipped into the corner.
And desperate times for Hornets. Very desperate for Hornets, because there you are. Those Leigh fans are absolutely delighted.
Just watch young Webster there. He's had a difficult night, hasn't he? Goes in there hard and high, going down there. Well, just bouncing on the line and over on the line to try. Just watch it coming now. Different angle this one. Jeffrey comes well. Webster goes in. He's not as big. There's the try.
An excellent win by Leigh at Rochdale Hornets. Hornets recovering, of course, to beat Carlisle on Thursday in the semi-final of the Lancashire Cup and reaching the final against St Helens. And that match will be played at Warrington at Wilderspool next Sunday, and we'll be showing it in full on Sportscast on Monday night. And of course the other county cup is between Castleford, the holders. In fact, they've been in 8 finals in 12 years, and Bradford Northern, who won it 2 years ago against Featherstone. We will be showing that live, the Yorkshire Cup final from Ellen Road, live next Sunday on Sportscast. Well, let's bring in Alan now. Back on the first half, we've already said that Sheffield Eagles had 75-80% of the territorial play, but dropped the ball as if it was a hot coal. Obviously, Gary Hetherington's going to talk about that during this interval.
Well, he'll obviously wanting his players to take more control of the ball, and I think if they had done, they would have been winning at half-time, because, as you said, territorially, they've really been dominating the game. Just those 2 breakaways and 2 tries.
But to give Leigh full credit, there were 2 beautifully taken tries. I gather that Simon Booth, who got the first one, got a knock on the shoulder and has been attended to by the Leigh doctor.